I hail from Rourkela, Odisha. So it's also known as the Steel City of Odisha. I have been brought up in Rourkela uh, since my birth. I'll say it has been 18 years in Rourkela for me. So I did my 10th and 12th from Rourkela itself. I scored a 95.14 in my 10th examinations and 95 percentage in my 12th examinations. So this was in the ICSE and the ISC boards. After that, I pursued my biotech degree, the BTech degree from NIT Rourkela itself. So in 2018, I got a job in Capgemini in the IT sector. I work in the field of business analysis and reporting. Generally in the fields of Microsoft Power BI and a lot of requirement gathering and all these things. So it has been 2.5 years there. From CAT perspective, I have a lot of things to say, so I will not put it in the introduction. But apart from that, what else? From my perspective of the 2.5 years of experience, that has been really helpful during the CAT preparation. And during my NIT period, I had a lot of extracurriculars that actually helped me during this CAT preparation. Actually, I had given CAT 2019 too. I had done a 1.5 months preparation starting from I think August or September, somewhere like that. That really didn't go so well. So I actually knew where my pain areas were before I started the preparation for CAT 2020. Also, I took some time off after the disappointment that I have had with CAT 2019. So I started off my preparation of CAT 2020 in May. So my strategy was very specific to the weak areas that I had, and also the mock analysis. So I can go step by step across these three sections that I had. Okay, the first section that was VARC for me. So VARC, I felt it was more about comprehension. So it doesn't matter if you are not a good reader or if you're a good reader. Maybe you have a huge command over English, but that really doesn't matter when you are solving VARC. So for VARC, I found two things to be very important. First part was you're comprehending what you are trying to read, and retention power, like how much you can recall and put in your mind while you're reading while you are reading those passages. So these are the two things that I worked around 4 to 5 RCs per day. So that really helped. For LRDI, it was more about practice and the theory. So the previous year, I hadn't done a lot of theories. I had solved maybe 150 LRDI sets and gone to the exam. So that doesn't really help. You have to have the knowledge of the basics when you are doing the LRDI. So by basics, I say there are 8 to 9 units. You have the cubes units, you have the Venn diagrams units, the 3 set, 4 set Venn diagrams. Sorry. Then you also have the other quantitative reasoning questions in LRDI, which are actually one of the prime questions that are coming since the past 2 years, the quant-based LRDIs. And QA, I think QA is something that everyone would put most of their time during the prep into QA. So the portion is very vast. So you'll have to you'll have to choose your battles very wisely when you solve the QA questions, because you would need to know the basics of all the sections, and you should also know at depth for some sections which are your favorite, or in which you feel comfortable in, so that you do not miss out on any of the basic questions, the easy marks that we say in CAT, and you are also able to solve a certain set of questions so that you could reach to 99 percentile. So for me, it was not the case, because I faltered in the time, speed, distance questions. But yeah, that's what I would like to say for QA. From the strategy perspective, I would say the mocks and the mock analysis are really important. So from May, June, and July, it was entirely brushing up the theories, doing a lot of questions. Even till August mid, I did the same things. From August mid, I started my mocks and my sectionals. So I took a cumulative around, I think, around 25 or 26 mocks. I know it was a bit less, but I think what's really important in these mocks is that how do you analyze these mocks? I mean, from a mock perspective, if you are giving a 2 hour mock, you should keep around 4 hours in hand to analyze that. So similarly, if you have a 3 hours mock, you'll have to put 6 hours in hand to analyze that. So for each mock, you'll have to keep that frame of time with yourself, and you'll have to analyze it very deeply. So that will actually improvise your score and performances, not the exact, not by taking 50, 60 marks. So the analysis is really important, and you will be able to see the difference once you reach 10, 12 marks. You will be able to see a bit of a difference there. Then I think November was all about taking a lot of sectionals and mocks, working on the weakness parts of it. If the students are starting preparation right now, I would tell them to break it in two halves, 2.5 months and 2.5 months. So starting from now, the next 2.5 months should be clearing out all the basics that you have. Covering as much as possible of the syllabus. Okay, I'll advise you not to take the marks right now, because that would be demotivating for you. So this has to be kept in mind, that the mocks which are prepared, the makers of these mock try to prepare it for these students who are actually fully versed with the syllabus, and they actually put difficult questions in it. It's not very easy. Any of the mocks are not prepared very easy, and even if it is easy, the percentiles will go up accordingly. So if you are starting preparation right now, please clear all your basics, starting from your VARC to the Parajumpers to the quants to the basic LRDS. Clear it out in 2.5 months. Prepare, do a lot of questions all together with that. For me, it was like during the weekends you can do a lot of questions, or you can keep Fridays, 3-4 days for questions and 3-4 days for theory. And after the next 2.5 months should be entirely mocks and mock analysis. So once you do your mock analysis, you will have an understanding of which subject you are not very comfortable in, or which unit you are not very comfortable in. So then you can go back to your notes, or you can go back to the drawing board and find out that what should I do better, what questions should I do more. So that's how it will work out.
How should we select the question for reading comprehension? Like, which para should we do first? Like, is there a preference, or should I go with from starting?
Yeah, so this question, I would put it in a different way. So everyone in this CAT who gives the CAT exam has a different comfort level. So for me, I'm more comfortable with the science articles, or you can say a bit of a history articles. So it entirely depends on in which section in which type of RCs reading you are comfortable in. You might be comfortable in economics, you might be comfortable with the social affairs, something like that. So you can go for that first. That's the first basic rule. Secondly, there are if you go through like when you start the VARC, you can have a look at all the 4-5 RC questions that you have. So there would be some questions which would be quite longer, or which would be quite difficult to read or comprehend. So these questions have to be kept towards the last. This is because the RCs that are put in the questions, like for CAT 2020, there were two RCs which were quite easy. I mean, from a comprehending perspective, so not a lot of these metaphors and everything. So it was easy to read. But there was one or two RCs which was very tough to read, very long, 600, 700 words long. So if you would go for that, you would take a lot of time to complete that. So that would be a problem for you towards the end.
Hello, Swastik.
Hi, Mena.
So, congratulations to you, first of all. The question would be from my side is, as a working profession, managing your studies and doing all the tactical analysis of doing how to you are, how will you be going for your studies in weekends or in your free time? So the whole the journey of this, would you be
Mhm.
elaborating it?
Yeah. So, being a working professional has its benefits in your interview experiences. That's the first thing. Second thing is you also have to manage your time a lot. So it is going to be hectic. For me, it was really hectic. I was working 9 to 10 hours a day, work from office, and all these COVID scenarios happened during that time itself. So yeah, 9 to 10 hours was my work time. After that, what I used to do was I had one to 1.5 hours of idle time. Okay. The way I prepared my schedule was for the 5 days, for the weekdays, I had around 3 to 4 hours in my hand, where I would make a break between two sections. So in one day I would do two sections, either QA or LRDI, or QA or VARC. That's how I had prepared my schedule. Okay. So after these 5 days, the 2 days that I had as weekends, during that period of time, I used to solve a lot of LRDI sets and QA sets. So it was kind of 8 to 9 hours I used to spend during the weekends. Okay. By the time October to November came, this 5 days for only preparation, was toned down to sectional tests. So on the weekdays, I used to give sectional tests, analyze them, and in the weekends I used to give the mocks, the full mocks, maybe 2 mocks in one day or 1 mock in one day, depending upon how much exhausted I am, and then analyze it. So that's how my schedule was. And I think if you are working, there would be one advice that I would like to give it to you all, that please do not leave your job if you are not very confident, if you are not 100% confident. Okay. Because having a job helps a lot during the interview preparations, during the interviews and your calls, because that is taken into your final score, and it also helps to give you a lot of material to talk during your interviews. I have given around 12 to 13 interviews, and half of them I have just talked about my entire work experiences. So having a work experience is really good. And uh, if you're not really sure that you would be going to crack it, then you should continue with your job. There have been people who were able to crack it without with leaving the job also, but it is risky. So you should think about that before leaving your job and everything.
Hello, sir.
Hello, I don't
Uh,
call me sir.
okay, hello. Uh, Actually, I have a question that to get into IIM, does we need a work experience, or what will be the difference of a person who has work experience and who does not?
Okay, so I'll talk about all the IIMs, the blackies that we call, and also the new IIMs. They have a varying criteria of selection. Okay, so work experience is given importance in some IIMs. In some IIMs, it is not given a lot of importance. Okay, so for the blackies, work importance is important. I think even C has it in the interview shortlisting. So work experience, they do take it when they select the students for interviews. Okay, but during this phase of preparation, your focus should only be on cracking a 99 percentile or a 100 percentile in CAT. That's all your focus should be. If you have a job, you shouldn't leave it. Obviously, that's what I'll advise you. And in the interviews, it really depends upon your profile. It depends upon your 10th scores, your 12th scores, and your CAT scores, your CAT interview experience, and work experiences. Coming back to your question, if I say out of 100 marks, the final interview score that you have out of 100 marks, some of the interviews give 10 marks to the work experience. Some of them give it on a scale of 5 marks. So you have a 5 to 15 scale in which the work experience is counted out of the entire 100 marks. Yes, because if you see in the recent years, all the top colleges of India are trying to have a global reach. They are highlighting that they are at such positions in the global rankings. I can give you some examples like Excel and even the top IIMs. They are taking students from GMAT itself. Okay, so there's this idea of making I feel that there's this idea of making CAT a more standardized examination, so that they can actually have more diversity also on the batch, and it can also appeal to the entire international standards. So I think, yeah, I agree with you, and I expect VRC to become a bit tougher, because if you have ever given the GMAT, you would know that their VRC is at a very higher level as compared to the CAT level. Even now, the section is quite tougher. So I expect the VRC section to get a bit tougher year on year, and the quant section, I think, is at a very par level. The CAT 2020 was a very par level question paper, so I don't expect the difficulty level of quant to go down this year. It might go a bit up. That's what I feel. I have actually given, I think around 12 to 15 interviews. So apart from IIMs, I've also given the SIBM, NMIMS interviews and all the other interviews that we have. Okay. So one thing that remains common across all the interviews is that they check how much patience a person has. So they will try to find out, your strong points and the weak points. So in the strong points, you will be good. So if you are, let's say if you are an architect, so if they ask you a question on architecture, you will be good, you can tell everything. Then they will ask you about general affairs, so maybe you would have read it, so they can go ahead and ask that. But then they'll ask you something that you're not very strong at, and they will be able to find it out because they have 20-25 years of experience, and they also know when you speak you make some mistakes, so they will catch on to those mistakes. So they really want to see how much patience you have and how well you can tackle these situations where you have a sticky situation in front of you. Then how do you tackle it? So I'll tell you one question. So one of my friends, he was asked that tell me two features of a panda which no one knows. Okay, so this is a very sticky question. You don't know what to tell. I was asked that so I'm a computer gamer basically. So I was asked that what is the appropriate time that you should spend every day on a game on a PC playing a game. What is the time that you think is appropriate? So these are some questions that gets very sticky, and you'll have to think a bit on the on the situation before saying that. So these things are really important from an interview perspective. Apart from having your own knowledge in your field, that's obviously important, and also the general affairs. I think that this cat is not a sprint race. It's kind of a marathon. Okay. So I really had a lot of support from my parents, my mother and father, who used to, they used to see that if I'm not really doing well, then maybe they would come and support me. Apart from that, in my free times, let's say if I am very exhausted, I don't want to do a lot of things, then I would want to watch a movie, maybe not a very long movie, but let's say a 1.5 hours movie or 1 hour 45 minutes movie. I was a bit inclined to watch the animated movies because they are funny enough, and they reduce your stress for some time. Okay, so that's how I used to tackle my anxieties when I had. And yeah, you will have a lot of anxieties by the time you come to November. Even one mock, if you are not doing very well, then you might feel a lot of stress. So you will have to tackle it. You will have to handle it in your own ways. Some might sing, some might watch movies. And I would advise you not to start any new series though, because that goes very long. Okay. There are two parts of this question. For the first part, I have an answer, and that is CAT is a battle of percentiles. Okay, so if it is a 3 hour paper, it's a 2 hour paper. There's a difference in the way it is to be approached, but at the end of the day, it is going to be same for everyone. For all the candidates, the pattern has changed, and at the end, you don't have to score 100% in the paper. You just have to be better than the other people who are giving the CAT exam. So even for me, it changed. Like the notification from IIM Indore came out in August that the pattern is changing from 3 hours to 2 hours. And till so I had the first slot. So I didn't know the pattern at all before before getting into the exam hall. Only there we got to know that there are 6 DI sets to be solved in 40 minutes, which was tough. Okay, so yeah, but we knew that we just have to be better from our other peers that are giving the exam. So yes, there's an uncertainty in terms of how many questions are going to come, what time is going to be provided. But at the end of the day, it's all about if you have prepared well, you can crack the exam, you can be better, and you can get more marks compared to your peers. The second part of the question, that's about your placements and the future. I think there's one thing that I really believe in, and that is that there will always be a requirement of good managers. Okay, across across the entire business profiles that we have, be it marketing, be it let's say consulting, be it operations. Everywhere you need really good people who can manage things well for an organization. So yes, we are living in uncertain times, but there have been a lot of positives. There have been vaccinations in US. So we do not like they do not need any masks, any other masks right now. So there are positives also. And at the end of the day, uh, if you are really a good person who has good skills, there will always be a demand for you in the market. I think that you are doing a really good work because there's a lot of people who are not able to, get these CAT materials directly. With Telegram, there's some materials that they are going to achieve, but the materials are never enough. You need to clear the doubts and you need to understand the basics. So I think that's a really good job that you guys are doing. Providing proper education to people who cannot afford it, and also covering your expenses by providing that kind of education to people who can afford it. So I think, yeah, that's a really good job that you guys are doing.
Initiative.